Okay, there we go. Sorry, the mic wasn't going to the stream audio. But welcome to Week 9 predictions. So we got another interesting week of predictions for you. So we'll open up with Thursday Night Football, Eagles at the Houston Texans. So Josh, you're the Texans fan. Take us away. What's your take?
Well, I'm probably going to be watching the World Series instead of this game because I already know what the outcome's going to be. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles here. I don't see any way that they're losing this. They're undefeated, and Houston is the worst team in the league. So, Eagles all the way. Jack, what are your thoughts?
I'm also going to have to go Eagles here. This Eagles team is like still the most complete and best team in the league. They're undefeated. Everyone's doing pretty much perfect. Jalen Hurts had a great game. A.J. Brown's doing a bunch of good stuff. And Houston's still sort of in the rebuilding phase, so I expect Philly to keep their undefeated streak alive and move to 8-0 here. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I think all of us are going to sweep on Eagles. The Eagles, like Jack said, have the most complete team. So, yeah.
All right, clean sweep on the Eagles, kind of expected. That brings us to our next matchup, which is going to be the Dolphins at the Chicago Bears. Since I'm in the AFC East, I'll take this one. I'm going with the Miami Dolphins. Everything's sort of just been clicking for the Dolphins lately. Tua's been throwing a lot of yards. Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, everybody's finding a way to cook in their offense. Of course, they were big movers at the trade deadline. We may have a video on that later this week. Bradley Chubb, Jeff Wilson, so they made a bunch of big moves there too. But they just feel like they're sort of rolling as of late. And now that Tua's back to 100%, they feel like they're one of the best teams in the league. And I don't see Chicago being able to keep up with them after the offensive explosion they allowed Dallas to go off on them last week. I expect a similar result this week. Give me the Dolphins. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I also have to go Dolphins here. They have a way more complete team. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are combining for more passing yards than Tua has thrown this season, which is weird to say. But really impressive by both of those two. And, yeah, they've made a lot of good trades lately. I really like the Bradley Chubb trade for their defense, but we'll talk about that a little later, probably. Yeah. What about you, Josh?
I'm going to have to go with the Dolphins, too. They look like a Super Bowl contender in my eyes. And with their new addition of Bradley Chubb, I think it will beat whatever the Bears are going to put out on Sunday. So give me the Dolphins here.
All right. Another sweep. The next matchup is going to be a kitty fight between the Panthers and the Bengals. I'll give this one off to Josh. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to have to go with the Cincinnati Bengals here. They really need a rebound after their embarrassment on Monday Night Football. I think that this will be a good rebound game for them, as much as I think that it was an amazing matchup on Sunday between the Panthers and Falcons. I think the Panthers are going to have to go to 0-2 in these span of 2 weeks. Zach, what are your thoughts?
I'll have to go Bengals here. The Bengals had a really, not a nice game against the Browns, but there were some good things about that Browns game. So I have to go Bengals. It has to be a bounce back, and Panthers are pretty, not a simple team, but they can be beaten pretty easily. So give me Panthers. Or Bengals. Jack?
I'll also go Bengals here. Bengals look pretty terrible against the Browns on Monday Night Football, but I still don't trust this Panthers team. They looked better than I thought they would, but the Falcons' entire secondary is just either toast or completely injured to that point. So I'm not going to completely say that the Panthers are actually going to be really good on offense and overwhelm the Bengals. I think the Bengals should have a bounce-back game here and get the win. Okay, our next matchup is going to be the Los Angeles Chargers going to Atlanta to face the Falcons. What are your thoughts on it, Zach?
I'm going to go Falcons here. They haven't looked the best lately, but the Chargers also haven't looked pretty good. So I feel like the Chargers are just going to come into this game a little bit more cocky than they should be because they are dealing with the NFC South champions right now. And I think the Falcons will become over 500. Or not. Yeah, they will become over 500. What about you, Jack?
I think I'm going to have to go with the Chargers here. Now, the Falcons are definitely a pretty solid team right now, but I just trust the Chargers a little more coming off a bye week. They still have a lot of questionable injuries, which I think the Falcons could take advantage of and get back in the game. They should keep it close, and there should be a 50-50 game, but I'll give the slight edge to the Chargers because of the extra week of rest. What are your thoughts, Josh?
This is going to be a really good game. I never thought I would say that at this point of the season, but I'm going to have to give it to the Chargers also because they are coming off of a bye. And I think that they are just going to, like what you said about the Falcons secondary, it has a lot of holes in it, so I think the Chargers and Justin Herbert will be able to take advantage of those holes and win the game.
All right, so our next matchup, we're moving to the NFC North rivalry game. The Packers going to the Lions. I'll give it to Josh. What are your thoughts on this one?
I'm going to have to go with the Green Bay Packers here. I think that they are going to get a bounce back, even though they didn't trade for anybody at the deadline. I think that the Lions have just been a dumpster fire this year. I think Campbell's getting fired at the end of the season, so give me the Packers here. Jack, what are your thoughts?
I think I'm also going to go Packers here. I think the Lions are going to be able to move the ball offensively and get some stuff done. But as we see time and time again, they have a lot of trouble against the run. I think if the Packers can just stick to their run game and get back to the fundamentals, they should be able to have a bounce-back game against a really struggling Lions defense right now. But I would not be surprised if the Lions are able to pull off an upset here. But I'm going to give the edge to the Packers here. I think they're going to have a strong run game this week, and they're going to come out strong, trying to get back in the playoff hunt. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Same with me. I think that the Packers are going to get the win, but I don't think it's going to be a firing of Dan Campbell at the end of the season. He motivates a lot of different people. Just give him a little bit more pieces on his defense, and then we can start talking about maybe him getting fired. Just the Lions just need to wait. This is probably the best head coach probably ever for motivation and everything. So let's wait. Okay. So yeah. The Packers, though, they have a really nice team. And Aaron Rodgers usually likes to sauce up the Lions. So, yeah.
All right, that leaves us to our next matchup. Not a rivalry, but still a weird game. The Minnesota Vikings at the Washington Commanders. I guess I'll take this one. I'm going Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings seem to have finally found some consistency and some rhythm. They were also buyers at the deadline here, acquiring T.J. Hawkinson from the Lions for a second-round pick, a fourth-round pick, and then they got back like a fourth and a third or something. But still, they add another great offensive weapon to Cook, Justin Jefferson, Thielen. And while Washington, I think they're going to keep it competitive because ever since Taylor Heineke's come in, Washington's actually gotten a little hotter. Terry McLaurin's getting more involved. They're using the run game a little better. I don't think it's going to be enough to overcome Minnesota, who's looking to be one of the best teams in the NFC this year. So I'm going to give it to them. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I'm going to have to go with the Vikings also. I think that with their new acquisition in T.J. Hawkinson and what they've already built up so far in their previous win against the Cardinals, I think all that coming into this game is going to lead to a Vikings victory on Sunday. Zach?
I have to go Vikings. After that Cardinals win last week, they've really proved themselves as a really solid team. And they're probably going to make, not a deep playoff run, but I feel like they're going to make a playoff run here, maybe to the divisional. They're really legit this year. They've only lost one game, and that's been pretty impressive lately.
All right. That'll bring us to our next game. This is another rivalry game. Seahawks going to Arizona for their second time to face the Cardinals this season. What are your thoughts, Zach?
All right. Since the addition of D-Hop, I think the Cardinals are going to win. The Seahawks faced us last time with no D-Hop, and D-Hop has been, let's just say, very good lately, and he's had 100 yards every game and 2 touchdowns. That's pretty impressive for a return like this. So I feel like he's going to do really well. I know that they have a good corner, but who cares? D-Hop's going to sauce him up. So, be Cardinals. What about you, Jack?
I'm also going Cardinals here. These teams split every year, and pretty much like we predicted a couple weeks ago, the Seahawks were able to get their win. It's the Cardinals' turn. And while the Cardinals lost to the Vikings are one of the best teams in the NFC this year, and D-Hop is looking really sharp so far in his 2 games back. I think that the Cardinals are going to get this big home win here to split the series against Seattle. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I'm going to have to go with the Cardinals here. Like everybody said, I think they're playing with Seattle here with the addition of D-Hop coming back.
All right. Our next matchup is 2 struggling teams that were viewed as contenders at the beginning of the season and last year, the Rams going to Tampa. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I think I'm going to have to go with the Rams here. As much as I think that Tampa could turn it around right here, I think that the Rams, with McVay as their coach, can just eke out a win. I don't know if it's going to be pretty, but I know it's going to be a win. So, Zach, what are your thoughts?
I'm gonna go Bucks. I think Brady's gonna want his revenge for what happened in the playoffs, and I feel like he's gonna get it here. They're both really not that solid this year. I feel like both of them probably won't make the playoffs, sadly, but maybe Bucks. But Rams, I don't think so. I think it's either Niners, Cardinals, or Seahawks. So yeah. So give me the Buccaneers here. What about you, Jack?
I'm also gonna go Bucks here. Few reasons: the Bucks technically had a longer week of rest because they started their game on Thursday, so they got 10 days instead of 7. Another reason is both these teams have looked pretty bad, but Cooper Kupp did have an ankle injury, which is a little concerning. I don't think it'll keep him out of the game, but it could affect explosiveness, stuff like that, and it's very clear that this is a Cooper Kupp reliant offense, so I think they could struggle if he's even limited in the games. So I'll give the Bucks a slight edge here, but both these struggling teams definitely have a chance to win here. I just think the Bucks are slightly healthier right now. I'll give it to them. All right. Means our next matchup is going to be the Indianapolis Colts going into New England to face the Patriots. I'll go first for this one, and I'm going to take the New England Patriots here. The Colts have not looked so sharp so far this season. They had to bench Matt Ryan. They fired their OC. Jonathan Taylor re-aggravated his ankle injury and did not practice today, so he's a big question mark going into the game. That's a red flag already because they're pretty JT reliant, or at least they have been in the past. Bill Belichick loves to bully rookie, sophomore quarterbacks, the young guys that he can take advantage of. I think Sam Ehlinger could struggle against the Patriots scheme, and I feel like they've sort of started to figure it out over the last couple of weeks. If they can pick this up, they're going to be over 500, 5-4. I think the Patriots' offensive run game can do just enough to edge the Colts out here at home. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I also have to go Patriots. Since that JT thing is happening, I would have most likely gone Colts, but I can't trust him getting the production this week, especially because he needs to get a lot more healthier, and I don't think the Colts are going to allow that. So this might be a really big struggle for this season. So, yeah. Josh?
I'm going to have to also go Patriots here. I think that the Colts are basically running off of JT at this point. They did just trade Nyheim Hines to the Bills. So it's boom or bust for them right now with JT. So give me the Patriots here.
All right, that leaves our next matchup as an AFC East game. The Buffalo Bills going into MetLife Stadium to face the New York Jets. I'll go first here, and I'm going to have to take the Buffalo Bills here. Obviously, they're probably the second or best team in the league, probably similar completion-wise. They're really good this season. And so far, the Jets' defense has been really good, but they have not met an opponent like Josh Allen yet. His unique ability as a quarterback, they have not faced yet. So he's probably going to do really well against the Jets' defense potentially. And the Jets' offense is kind of staggering right now. James Robinson's still sort of getting adjusted. They need to get him involved more. And Zach Wilson is one of the worst QBs in the league, if not the worst, when under pressure. And we know this Buffalo pass rush can get after you. So I think this elite Buffalo defense can make Zach Wilson make mistakes, and that could all factor in potentially a big one for the Bills. We'll see if the Jets defense could hold it up and keep it close, but overall, I don't trust the Jets offense enough against this crazy Bills pass rush. Give me the Bills. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I'm going to have to go with the Bills here because I don't trust the Jets at all. After that loss against the Patriots, I don't trust them as much as I used to because they did have a cakewalk of a schedule at the beginning of the year. And now I think they're starting to get shown up as maybe they're not as good as advertised and it may take one more year. So give me the Bills here. Zach?
Bills, they're arguably the best team in the league. I still can see a Jets win, especially from their running game by James Robinson. I think this Breece Hall injury is really setting this team back, but it's okay. I just have to give it to the Bills. They're like the second or the best team in football right now, so give me the Bills.
All right. That'll bring us to our next game, which is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders going down to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars, two struggling teams. Josh, since this is your division, I'll let you have the first take. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to go with the Jags here. I think that they want some sort of payback for what happened in London. And the Raiders just came off of a blowout. I don't see where they can go from here. So give me the Jacksonville Jaguars here. Zach?
Yeah, I think Jags. They play a better game, I believe, than whatever the Raiders were doing. The Raiders got shut out by the Saints, and the Saints are a nice team, but just not this season. So yeah, give me the Jags. Jack.
I think I'm also gonna go Jags here. I'm just not sold on this Raiders team. I get Devontae was sick or whatever going into the game, and that definitely affected his play. He'll probably be more back to normal, but I think the bigger issue is the Raiders' inability to contain Kamara. He was really their Saints' only weapon last week going into Vegas, and he was pretty much unstoppable. If the Jags can game plan around ETN to do similar things to what Kamara was able to do, they could probably run all over this Raiders defense, who looked rough so far. So ultimately, I'll give the slight edge to the Jaguars here. This one definitely could go either way, though. Right, that leaves us with the Chiefs. The Titans going into Kansas City to face the Chiefs. I'll give this one to Zach. What are your thoughts?
I have to go Chiefs. Andy Reid after a bye week is super good. It's one of the best things in football. So I have to trust it every single time. Give me Chiefs. Jack.
I'm also going Chiefs here. Like Zach said, obviously, Andy Reid after a bye week is kind of ridiculous. He always finds a way to have an elite game plan. And the Titans, they're 5-2. I get that, but I'm a little concerned if Tannehill isn't able to start. Malik Willis played absolutely terrible. He had like 6 completions for 50 yards in the pick. It just took Derrick Henry running for 200 yards to slip by the Texans. So ultimately, I just can't trust this Titans team to go into Arrowhead. Chiefs coming off a bye, especially with either injured Ryan Tannehill or rookie Malik Willis. I don't have a lot of faith in their ability to pull off an upset here, and I expect the Chiefs to win, potentially handily, depending on who's playing quarterback for Tennessee. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Chiefs here too because Andy Reid after a bye week, like everyone else says, dominant, and the Tennessee Titans, they have such an easy schedule this year, especially being in the AFC South. So I don't see how they can beat the Chiefs in any sort of way. So give me the Chiefs.
All right, that brings us to our final matchup of the week. Monday Night Football. The Ravens are traveling down to the Superdome to play the New Orleans Saints. I'll give this one to Josh. What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna have to go with the Baltimore Ravens here because they are looking hot right now. I am excited to see where they go from here. And the Saints they were in a really good shootout with the Cardinals, but they were the ones who blew out the Raiders the next week. So they've been okay, but the Ravens have just been on a different level this season. So give me the Ravens winning this game. Jack?
I'm also going to have to go Ravens here. This Saints team did come off a big win against the Raiders, 24-0, but I don't think the Ravens defense is going to let the Saints bully them like the Raiders did, especially with Roquan Smith coming in. We'll see how much time he gets in his first appearance, but the Ravens also had the long week to prepare, and overall, I just can't trust this Saints to be ready offensively. We still don't know what's happening with Michael Thomas or Jarvis Landry, leaving them with very limited options at wide receiver outside of Chris Olave and some Alvin Kamara stuff in the wide receiver role. So for now, I'm just going to trust the Ravens, and if Mark Andrews can get 100% healthy, they should be the AFC North champions by the end of the year. I'll give this one to the Ravens. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I gotta go Ravens here. They're a really nice. They're looking like a really nice team. Probably, I would even say a top 3 team in the AFC right now, behind the Chiefs and the Bills. But I don't know. This is a really nice season for Lamar Jackson. Getting the addition of Roquan is super nice. I think that just with these pieces, it's just gonna go really well for this Ravens team. Probably they'll make playoffs. I'm pretty sure of that, though. So yeah. Alright, so that does it for our video today. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you enjoy watching us, hit the subscribe button. Turn on post notifications so you can get all of our videos. I believe we're not doing what is it called? Chronicles?
Friday Night Chronicles.
Yeah, Friday Night Chronicles. Because I won't get into it. So yeah. Unless, Jack, are you doing it?
I'm not sure yet, so I'll keep you guys updated.
Okay. Alright, cool. So just maybe. And yeah, leave it in the comments below if you have any hot takes. So yeah, because we had a lot of sweeps this week. So in the comments if you have any hot takes. What about Jack? Hit the flags.
As always, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Frontline FB. The setup's a little weird since my OBS was messed up, so they're not in the normal corner they're in. They'll probably be back there by next week, hopefully. And yeah, stay tuned. I'm not sure if I'll be able to make the Friday Night Chronicles. If possible, I'll let you guys know from there, and then the videos will be up Saturday. That'll all depend on other stuff, but if they are, they'll be there Saturday morning as normal. If not, they'll be back next week at a normal scheduled time. And of course, we'll also see you guys next week for more predictions. And I forgot the catchphrase, but I think it was "Where are the snakes?"
What's in the living room?
There it was. The snakes.
There we go.
See you guys next week.